Hey, this is Joe McCall. Welcome to the Real Estate Investing Mastery Podcast. We've got a great show for you today because we're going to be talking with the land diva and her team, Rhea. And she's amazing. She's been crushing it doing land deals and other types of deals. She's a very active entrepreneur and a very serious land investor. She's got a great business. And I have brought her on the show because I want to talk to her and her team about what's going on. What is she doing? She sent me a message the other day that she just partnered with somebody in our community and lent the money on a deal and got some percentage of the profit. And so we're going to be talking to Rhea about what she's doing and how she's doing it, and so that you can do it yourself also. You might be looking at this podcast here and thinking, man, I want to partner with people like Rhea. I want to work with people like Rhea, or maybe even partner with Rhea herself and her team on your deals. So we're going to be talking about that on the show. I just want to jump right into it. Rhea, the land diva, how are you? And we've got Imelda and Alexa. How are you guys?
These are the three land divas. Okay, we got a trio of land divas here. We're amazing, awesome. Joe. It's great to be on your podcast. Thanks for having us. We're excited to be here.
So you bought my program a year ago?
Well, the gal down there in the corner of the screen, Imelda.
Okay,
Mel, why don't you tell Joe what happened, because this is kind of fun. What happened?
Yeah.
So, Rhea and we kind of met last year through Sub2, and I met Alexa through Rhea, and I started doing some wholesaling. I got one deal, and I didn't realize that it ended up being a land deal at the end of it. It was in Tampa. It was a house that
really?
I assigned, and they tore down the house for the lot, and it was, they paid $700,000 for it. Wow. And just for the lot. So I didn't realize it was land, and I didn't really want to do single family. I just kind of spent months thinking through things, and I was doing other stuff. I was doing some lending, and we were doing a flip together, the three of us actually. And in November, I watched one of your interviews with Jerry Norton.
Yeah.
And it kind of hit me. I'm like, oh my gosh, that was really a land deal, and I watched them all. You had like a series with him.
Yeah.
And I just bought the course that day. I'm like, okay, I'm going to buy it and I'm going to do it. And
so you're the troublemaker. I thought Rhea was the troublemaker.
So then I called Rhea and I was like, we're going to do land.
Nice.
You don't know this yet, but I have a plan. And she's like, oh, really? And it kind of just evolved very quickly. Quickly, we were like, very quickly got, Freedom Soft and got all that going. And we were putting in a ton of hours trying to get everything set up, and just trying to follow your course as much as, your course gave us the foundation to get some direction, and
yeah.
That's how it all started. And
that was November, right, Mel? So that was, if I remember correctly, because I remember when she called me and said, hey, what do you think about land? And I was like, I know nothing about land. She's like, I bought a course. And I was like, oh God. Like,
this was November 23.
November 21st of 2023.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is July 24 right now. So it's been November, December, 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
9 months. Okay, so then Rhea, what you said, land, okay. What was your experience before that? And how'd you guys meet?
Okay, so I'll back up a little bit. So I've spent the last 22 years in commercial real estate, and I do tenant representation. I'm downtown, I run my own company, but I also run a 5-location direct primary care practice. Listen, anything that makes money and where you can build systems, I like to do it, right? It makes no difference to me what it is. Systematize, right? Create the little box and let it run. I probably want to do it. And so in January of 2023, I woke up one day, said, I don't want to do tenant rep anymore. I want to start buying hard assets, and pivoted, joined Pace Morby's group, and then sort of got my feet under and bought a bunch of single family homes and realized, oh God, no, I don't want to do that. We've since syndicated. We own a hotel with Alexa over here and some other things. But one of the things that happened was we need today money. We need like a conveyor belt of money, right? Because we all lend money as well. And we lend a lot of money, and, like you run out really fast. And so when Mel came to me and said, hey, what do you think about land? I realized, ooh, that sounds really good. Very systematized, right, in your course, right? So we went through it. Very systematized. You literally just follow the blueprint, just do what your course says to do, set up all the systems. And I'm an integrator and a visionary. I can do all of those things. So set them all up. Mel is like an absolute savage on the phones with leads. Like seriously, she's like a killer. Like give me the phone and let me get them live and I will take them down, which is incredible, right?
Yeah.
Now, Alexa had a bunch of stuff going on and she was like, I don't know, you guys, I got some other things going on, so I'm not ready to jump in right now. So Mel and I were like, okay, well, we're full steam ahead. And so I'll give you guys a couple of metrics because I just want you to have an idea. We started with what you suggested, Joe, right? Okay, we were doing, I think we started like with 1,500 mailers. We did it through Rocket Mail. We set up FreedomSoft. We created our systems and we, test and measure, mail them out. The one thing that we heard that you said that we took to heart was send offers. Like, this is really simple. If you're not sending offers, you're not going to get deals. Yeah. So we're like, we need to send 20 offers a day. Like I remember
when you sent me that. I remember when you told me that. And I thought, wow.
20 offers a day. Like if we had an idea of what we wanted to make. And so we just kind of reverse engineered it and said, all right, well, we want to make this kind of money. What does our spread need to be? But in the beginning, we were like fumbling around and like, okay, well, wait, the very first deal that we closed, our spread was what, $3,800 on it. Mm-hmm. And we were like, we're not doing that again. Like, that's way too much work. Not enough money. Right. Because we didn't scrub our list, as rigorously as maybe we needed to. Now, so what we started doing in the beginning was we're mailing. We didn't do any texting, no cold calling. We did do some cold calling right now. Yeah. But sending offers was like our main priority. And so we just started pumping out offers, got a bunch of stuff in the pipeline and, got on the phones, called all the sellers and just figured it out.
Yeah. So, okay, 20 offers a day. Now, is that blind offers or is that talk to people, send them an offer?
Neutral letter. So neutral letter, they call, we jump on the call. Or I don't remember when we added texting. We added texting pretty early.
It was early, yeah. We were texting 600 a day when we first started in launch control. So basically we took it to heart. Yeah, like you said, make as many offers as you can. And I mean, some of those offers were like, the seller was like, I want 100,000. I'm like, great, I'll give you 15,000.
And you still send them an offer, right?
Still send them an offer. I mean, a lot of really upset people, but I mean, it's like, okay, this is what I can pay. Sorry.
And we put it in our pipeline for follow-up and we put an automation on it and we'd let the automation do its thing. And until they tell us, do not ever call me again, we are going to continue to pursue them.
Oh, man, this is music to my ears.
I know.
I can't believe it.
Joe, listen, I understand that only a thimbleful of the people that buy your course actually follow through. And I actually heard this stat the other day. I don't know if you guys heard it. Actually, Pace Morby said it on one of the family night calls. And I was like, really? Who would bother wasting all that time going through the course and then not actually following every single, step that you suggest? But like we all execute, right? That is like what we do. And we're not afraid to get in and listen. In fact, one of the mailings that I sent out, I think I wasted like $1,500 because I made a mistake. And I was like, Mel, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. And I just wasted your money. I hope you don't mind. But like, that's part of the process, right?
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
You test, you measure. So we pumped out offers. We got lots of stuff in our pipeline and we started to figure out like, we don't want this one, or this one's not enough spread, or this is, little things that were like, no, that doesn't fit in like how we want it to, to look, right? The business, the kind of business we want to build. But the other thing that we could see very quickly was we could see that this is just a numbers game, right? If you just play the numbers game, you up the number of offers, you up the number of mailers, you up the number of offers, you up the number of contracts. So instead of like the shotgun approach, and I'll just kind of fast forward, we're a little more sniper now, right? Because we've learned, no, we don't want to do that. Or each county is a little different. Now, wait a second, we need to increase our smallest size, right?
Yeah.
Because the spread is too small in this area. And so we're a little more detailed now in what we do.
Yeah.
We pulled some resources from my other company. I have a director of analytics. He's actually my finance guy, super good with data and analytics. So he pulls all the lists and scrubs them. So we had some, we had access to people, and we have a customer service team that are over in the Philippines. We hired very quickly. We've got 3 people that are all doing different things on the back end. And then we're involved to a certain degree, right? Overseeing, opening up the hood and taking a look underneath it, making sure that the systems are running as we design them. And we were writing SOPs. Anything we do more than once, we write an SOP. Mel would create the Loom video. Alexa would be like, I got Dispo process. Hold on, let's clean up the contracts. Let's change the contracts. Let's change the offers. Because we don't want them to all sound like Joe McCall's offers.
No.
Right?
Okay.
I mean, your offers are great, but everybody's using your same offers.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about, I want to get into the details of kind of what you're doing and how you're doing it. But what kind of business are you doing today? Like, how many deals have you done? How many vacant land deals have you done since November?
So we're going to walk you through. We actually mapped out all of our metrics. So we're in a place right now where we are tracking everything. We have a KPI dashboard coming out. We literally need to look at absolutely every dollar we spend and make sure that it makes sense, because we have enough history and data, right?
Yeah.
We've done $291,000 in gross revenue. We transitioned from FreedomSoft to another piece of software. So we actually lost some time and some footing, but we knew that was going to happen, right? Because we had to transition our entire team, and we said, it's okay. We're going to do this.
Yeah.
Our margins right now are 68%.
That's really good.
Yeah, it's crazy. We know that's going to slip as well. And so net, now Alexa joined us in February. She came back and she was like, all right, you guys, I took care of all the things I needed to, and I'm in. So she joined in February. But from an entire company perspective, we've done 291,000, 13 deals, 2 seller finance deals. We have 14 more contracts that are in the pipeline. We have 2 that are in escrow. That'll bring another maybe 45,000 in gross profit. 6 that look kind of iffy. If they sell, we're lucky, right? Sometimes you get some iffies. 2 that look really good, and 6 maybes.
Okay.
And so net to myself and Mel, and we didn't do an exact calculation for Alexa because she joined in February.
Yeah.
But we're really only counting January through the end of June. $96,000 net to me and net to Imelda. So it's a little bit less because Alexa has a little bit of that, but she joined in Feb. And then, of course, it takes about 90 days before those contracts start popping out the bottom, right?
Yeah. So you've netted net. And in my mind, that's after marketing expenses, after software, things like that.
Yep.
You've netted 96 grand.
The first 180, almost 200.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay,
Net to me
2.
is 96 and 96 to Mel if you didn't count Alexa. But Alexa does have a couple of contracts in there too.
So it's about 192,000.
Yep.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That was out of about 13 deals that you've completed and a couple of seller financing deals that you're getting cash flow monthly on that.
Correct.
Good for you. Wow. And that's net after marketing expenses. So I know people are asking a lot of, people are asking a lot of questions like that. Oh, that sounds awesome. But like, how much money did you spend on marketing to get those deals? Do you have like the numbers of how many letters or postcards per lead, per contract, things like that?
Roughly, because remember, we transitioned from FreedomSoft to another piece of software, right? And so and we have them in different campaigns, and we had to upload and transfer everything over. But we sent about 36,000 mailers. Okay, roughly. And that would be, we're not counting November and December, even though we sent our first mailer in December, because Mel and I were like poking in the dark, right? we're still trying to figure out, okay, what do we say to sellers? And we got to get our groove on, right? We're still trying to figure, we had to learn how to do everything ourselves first before we could teach it to somebody else.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Right. So that's what we did. So about 36,000 mailers. We did a little bit of cold calling. We didn't get anything from cold calling. We were hiring our team, right? We had to hire our team, and we had to burn through a couple people. right? We'd hire and fire and hire and fire. But we weren't doing a huge amount of mailers. Like our first mailer was 1,500 mail, and then we started doing 2,500. We're now doing 30,000 a month.
Nice.
Right. And we're doing cold calling and we're texting, right? We've layered on a variety of other. Now we haven't done our full 30,000 yet. We just scaled up because we've got our systems in place and we know our metrics. So we know that our team can handle a certain number of incoming leads.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. So you're sending right now, you're almost scaled up to 30,000 mailers a month.
Yeah.
And are those letters or postcards?
Letters and postcards. We do like a three sequences. So we do a neutral letter and then we follow up with a postcard. Now, previous to this scaling up, we were only doing 2 sequences, right? We would do the neutral letter and then we would do the postcard. And then we would see what we'd get and we'd move to another county. And if it was a really hot county, remember, we hadn't been, like our strategy was like it was developing. So now that we have enough history and data, we can look back at that and go, wait a second, this was a hot county for us. We're going to go in and we're going to kill it. Yeah. Right? We're going to text it. We're going to mail it. We're going to cold call it. So now we understand that layered approach to make sure that we're capturing everything.
Yeah. And so what you're sending neutral letters like, hey, do you want to sell your land? Call me. What are you getting on average response rate and for me, a response rate is like somebody that just calls, right?
I think it's like 2%.
Okay.
Yeah, 1 to 2.
I think it's about 1 to 2.
All right. That's about good. That's average.
Yeah.
Are you targeting more recreational lots or infill lots, or does it just depends?
Well, we didn't really have any like strategy in the beginning. We were just like, just do what Joe says, right? We're just going to pick some counties where there's a lot of stuff going on and we're just going to blast it out, which is what we did. Now we know what an infill lot is. Now we know what a recreational lot is. Now we know what a lot that doesn't look so good is. Well, guess what? It doesn't have road access, or it doesn't have, it's in the middle of nowhere and nothing's selling. So now we're a little bit smarter. So, but we'll take any of those. We'll do commercial lots. It makes no difference. In fact, one of the lots that we had, we bought it in cash. Turned out you couldn't build on it. The guy he owned the lot, but he also owned the 2 houses on the property beside the lot, said to Imelda, because she's a savage on the call with sellers, and said, I can't afford my mortgage. And she said, well, we could buy your house for you. And he said, great. And she said, what's your mortgage? And he said, 72,000. And I just want a little bit of money in my pocket. And she's like, phenomenal. And she sent over a contract and contracted his 2 houses so that
Subject
we could.
To?
No, cash. Just cash.
Okay.
Yeah, we sold it as a rehab.
I mean, we bought it for 92,000. We sold it for 165,000.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
But we needed it because we had all cash purchased the corner lot beside it. And we needed 2 more feet from his lot in order to make it buildable. And we thought, that's too much brain damage. Why don't we just buy his lot as well? Buy his 2 houses with the lot, and then we'll just sell the whole thing as a package.
Nice. All right. So with your metrics now, have you been tracking how many offers you typically send out before you get a deal?
Not perfectly, but we were tracking about what you said like 30 offers, right? Or about 1 deal, roughly. But in the beginning, the problem was that we were sending offers on everything. Some of those weren't even really perfectly qualified leads, right? Yeah. We're just sending. Again, we're perfecting our systems. We're getting everything set up. We're learning like, okay, what's our conversation with the sellers? Now we have a very different process, right? It's not a lead unless we've got the 4 pillars and there's enough motivation to go over to the comping team, and then they comp it and then they do work on it. So we will discard a bunch of, really? Hey, I am thinking about selling. Yeah. Sure, you're selling for 100,000 and it's worth 50. Like, that's not a lead.
Yeah. Oh, so what are those 4 pillars? Those are the 4 pillars of motivation, I'm assuming?
Correct. Yeah. Timeline, motivation, price, and condition. Like what's, services, roads, etc.
Yeah. So Melda, when these leads come in, are they going to voicemail? Are you trying to answer them live? What are you doing?
No, we have our BA team answer the phones.
Okay.
And anyone that is considered a hot lead, basically they pass it along to our hot lead pipeline, and then we get on the phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And listen, I'm okay if you don't like Freedom Soft, because I use it and I love it. But and you were using it and you didn't like it. It's not for everybody. What are you using now? What software or free CRM are you using?
It's not that we didn't like FreedomSoft. FreedomSoft is a great piece of software. Let me be really honest. I mean, I think it's phenomenal. And we transitioned over to Pebble mostly because we had Trello. So we had to have the paid version of Trello for dispositions. By the way, Alexa is our disposition queen, right?
Cool.
She's our contract queen. That girl drafts a contract like nobody's business. Right.
Yeah.
She goes in. So, like your cash contract, do we have EMD? Do we need 15 days? Do we do an assignable? Is it all cash? She's redrafted all of those. And then she handles the back end kind of system of, systems for that. So that,
do you feel like Pebble is more like Trello in the sense that it kind of has the deal flow a little bit better and the dispo side?
Alexa, what do you think?
Yeah, I would say it's just easier to track it in one place versus, having FreedomSoft up and then logging into Trello. It's just way easier to have it all in one place. I did like how I think that FreedomSoft is simpler to use for sure, but Pebble just offers more.
So are you still using Trello, or are you using Trello with Pebble?
No, we got rid of it. So we just use the deal flow on Pebble now. So all of our stuff is in one app.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Pebble. It's a good software. Let me just ask you, because it's been a long time since I looked at it. Do they give you the phone numbers there inside of Pebble as well? And so can you still have the communications with sellers by phone and text inside of Pebble? Nice. Okay. And then email. Does inbound and outbound emails all inside of Pebble as well?
Yes,
cool.
That was a big one for us.
You can also sign docs. You can pretty much do anything.
Nice. All right, cool. I wanted to ask you some questions about the. I got a lot of questions here. I guess, Melda, back to you. Tips for talking to sellers, right? So there's a lot of people watching this or listening or like, that sounds awesome. One of the reasons why they like land is I might have talked too much before about how you can do a bunch of marketing, have all the calls go to voicemail, you send an offer, and then only talk to people after they get your offer. And that does work, but it's not the fastest way to a deal, right? I think the fastest way to a deal is getting on the phone and talking to people, right? So what are some tips you'd give to people on how to talk to sellers better? And how quickly do you talk to sellers? As somebody who doesn't have as big of a budget as maybe you guys do, so each lead is more valuable maybe to them. What's advice would you give to that person?
I'm just myself on the phone and very, honest and respectful. Hi, Mr. Thompson. Good morning. Thank you for calling us.
Okay.
What has you wanting to sell? And I'm pretty straightforward. I actually don't last. I'm not on the phone very long. But I have had sellers where they're on the phone with me for 30 minutes because they're just talking and talking and I'm just listening. I listen to what they have to say. And, I think that's just what I do. I'm just really honest with them, respectful. And
I love that. That's
I don't have anything special.
Well, you do.
That.
Yeah, you actually I need to say this because she really does have something special. What she has special that I think is really unique is she's really just herself.
Okay.
Right. So, Mr. Johnson, right? Very, like what she said, she's very respectful. We all are. What can what's the problem? What's going on? What can I help you with? And then she's relentless in follow-up.
No.
Let's talk about the follow-up. Yeah. That is so important. There was a lady, Pam Dotson. We did a bunch of house deals with her. And Melda, you remind me a little bit of Pam. And that's what she was so good at. She was just a bulldog on the phone, not like aggressive, but just relentless follow-up. And she's like, because one time we were helping her, coaching her or something like that. And then we were talking about a specific lead, and something happened where most people would have said, oh, it's just a dead lead, throw it away. And she said something like, no, I'm just going to keep on calling them until they sell their house to me or they sell it to somebody else.
Yeah.
I was like, really? She says, yeah, what's the big deal? And then that's when we realized, oh my gosh, that's somebody we need on our team. And so we've done hundreds of deals with her. But just the relentless follow-up, what kind of follow-up do you do? And what does that look like?
So once someone has been tagged as hot for us, unfortunately they'll sit on the pipeline for a while, and sometimes we kind of, we're cleaning it up, and I'm like, no, don't take that one off. Nope, don't take that one off. And it's like, well, you've been texting them, calling them for a month, and they haven't replied. I'm like, I'm still going to call them. And we had a lead like that from Plant City. That was the lot that we bought, and then we got the 2 houses. I texted the guy since I think December, and until February we didn't sign anything. He wouldn't respond. He didn't respond at all. And I just kept texting him and leaving him voicemails. And then one day he's like, well, only if you meet me at the lot. And I drove out there. It was only an hour away. I was like, I'm going out there. So I drove, and wow. I met him there. And luckily I was close, right? But I just kept texting him, and he was just he felt he felt that everybody wanted to scam him. In fact, he showed up to the title company to close. He wanted to be handed a check physically. Okay. So he was he didn't trust anybody. So ultimately I gained his trust. In fact, I tried getting him to list his houses, and I gave him one of our agents' number. She called him I don't know how many times, and he never called her back. He didn't want to list. So we tried.
Man, I'm telling you, that is so important. If you want to stand out in a competitive market, you just have to do what other people aren't doing. And that's following up, talking to people, getting on the phone.
Yeah.
Right. Because people are getting inundated with offers and mail, houses and land, right? They're getting inundated with other people that want to buy their stuff, but no one's willing to pick up the phone and do the hard work and talk and listen to them and follow up. Oh, that's so good. So like when you're talking to sellers, Imelda, you don't channel your inner Grant Cardone and go into some super high pitched used car salesman thing, right?
No, far from it. No, not at all.
Okay.
It's really
just listen and ask questions.
Straightforward. Why do you want to sell? How soon are you looking to sell? And just respectful. And some sellers want to chat with you, and some don't. Some just want to give you the facts and then just hang up. And I guess I mirror that, right? If they want to chat, I'll chat with them. If they don't, I just get the facts and get off the phone. And then if I tell them I'm going to call them back, I call them back.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
And you manage all the conversations inside of Pebble, the outbound, inbound calls.
Yes.
Is that right? Okay. Nice. Let's talk about dispositions. Alexa.
That's me.
You're in charge of dispo. Is that right?
I am. Yep.
And what does that look like for you guys?
So that's basically once the customer service team gets the contract signed, it comes over to me. I'll get that over to our title company. If the seller has chosen a title company that they want to work with, we'll go that route. We have to determine if it's going to be an assignment or a double close. And then basically from then on out, I'm dealing with realtors, I'm dealing with title companies, I'm dealing with surveys, photos, anything like that. So pretty much anything after the contract is signed all the way to the closing table. I'm also, we just had an incident where we had a lot under agreement. We had an end buyer, and the seller just sold it to somebody else when we were under contract. So I'll probably be in charge of litigation as well.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. So
that's frustrating.
Yeah. We had that happen twice. We had another seller who forged his wife's signature, and then we go to close, and of course he can't produce any ID for her because of course she didn't sign, he signed. So there's a lot of shenanigans, that happen in land, which by the way, I just want to say, right. So what did we learn from that? Well, we learned we might have to put a memorandum on a property that has a big enough spread and do that very quickly. And we'll just do that automatically ourselves through deeds.com.
That kind of clouds the title. It's like an affidavit of interest or a memorandum of option or something, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And or think about, do we litigate? Do we send a letter and say you are under contract and then negotiate some sort of payment?
Can
What's
I give
worth
you guys a little tip?
Yes, please.
I learned this from a guy in Bakersfield, California, where it's super competitive. Every deal he got under contract, he would have his attorney immediately send them a letter, the owner, a letter. And congratulations. And the letter, the title of it was the law offices of, the attorney's name, right? Looked like an official certified letter, whatever. And the letter would say, hey, congratulations, Mr. Seller, on the contract that you've agreed to sell the property to my client, so and so and so. And just spells out the details of the arrangement. There's a 2-week inspection contingency. This is for houses. We're going to close on this date. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact our office, et cetera, et cetera. And they would include a copy of the contract. But just that little act, getting that official letter from his attorney to that seller right away, he claimed virtually eliminated any of the problems he had after that with that seller. So that could be something, if you have an attorney, maybe even a company like Prepaid Legal or something like that, you could get them to do something like that for you. Okay, cool. Are you guys, Alexa, closing on your deals right away, or are you, are you trying to do 90 days to see if you can get any interest on it or not? What are you guys doing there?
Cash. Most of the time, though, where we have 90 days. And so one of the things that I changed in the contract that we provided is, instead of 90 days, we change it to 90 business days. It's kind of like a psychological thing, right? It buys you a little bit more time, but they still read it as 90 days. So we're doing that. But sometimes we do close in cash. Just depends. Like the seller finance ones, we'll close in cash, obviously, and then give them the terms on the back end. So I'm also doing that too. That's part of the dispo, is setting the terms, working with title to get the note and all that stuff done too.
Are you listing them with the agent, with a realtor?
We are. Yep.
Have you had any kickback from realtors? Hey, you can't list that because you don't own it yet.
No, we disclose everything. So that was one of the things that, we make very clear what we're doing, just so that there are no issues. And if somebody has a problem with it, then fine, we'll double close. No problem. Okay. So we did South Carolina and there was an issue, so we probably won't do that again. But where our target markets are now at this current moment, we don't have any issues with that.
And, nice. And if it's a really good lot, right, and we're not worried about it, we'll just close it. We'll just close it in cash.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you guys use your own cash to close those deals?
We have used. We did buy 50 acres in Plant City for $340,000, and it had a very large ARV. And so we used 2 private money lenders, one for $190,000, another one for $170,000. And then we actually gave them a flat fee. We were way too generous. We gave them a really good deal. And then we closed it in 45 days. And so these guys got their money back and they were like, this is crazy. But, we were converting these private money lenders into our private money lenders in perpetuity, right?
Yeah.
Be more generous, let them have a taste of it so that you can continue to use them. But there have been a couple of times when we've gone to closing and the end buyer backs out and we have to fund the same day. So we recognize we have to stay a little bit liquid, because like that happened just the other day with Alexa. She was like, I have to buy it outright today.
Well, you guys know in my inner circle, you get free transactional funding, right?
Uh-huh.
No.
What?
We do?
You guys get free transactional funding if you're members of my inner circle, which you are. You should be.
Yes, we are.
So in the membership site, there is it's just in the members area. There's a thing called free transactional funding and free proof of funds. You get free proof of funds letters, and we will fund your transactional deals. Like it has to be double close, right? So you have to have an end buyer ready to close on the deal. We'll fund the deal to the title company. When I'm not sure the details of how it works, I work with a guy named Cam on this, but and we don't charge any interest or points on that money.
That's amazing. Yeah. Thank you.
It's 1 or 2 day close, right?
Yeah.
And the cool thing about what these guys do that I'm working with on this is they have a list of all of the title companies. They've done this all over the country, but they have a list of all the title companies that they've done this with. So they'll, depending on the state that you're doing deals in, they'll give you the good title companies that are more investor friendly
Oh,
to
amazing.
work with. That will make everything easier on the closing part of that. Does that make sense?
Oh, perfect. It does. Thank you, Joe. We didn't know that. Wow. Okay, that's a
Yeah.
nugget. Thank you.
Well, let me know offline too later if you want me to show you exactly where that is. But cool. So Alexa, real quick, did you guys meet through? How'd you guys meet? Was it through the Sub2 community?
Yeah, it was. So Rhea and I hopped on a Zoom. It was last year sometime. And then we just kind of hit it off. And then we met Mel. And then so we ended up flipping a house first. And then we got into this land stuff. But originally, yeah, it all came from Sub2.
I love this. Okay, Sub2, those of you that don't know, it's Pace Morby's community called Sub2 Community. And it's probably the biggest, best community in real estate investing. But mainly it's for houses, right? And I know Pace, he's a good guy. I saw you guys at the last, what was it called?
Squad
Up?
Squad Up.
Summit. Yeah, that was awesome. It was a great event. It's just super cool. But I want to encourage everybody too. Like I don't know if I've ever done a deal where it's 100% on my own, by myself. Like every deal I've done has always been with somebody else partnering on something that I'm not good at or don't want to do. Right. A lot of times, like, and you've heard me tell the story, I'm sure, but when I wanted to travel Europe with my wife and our 4 kids, I wanted to do deals while traveling. And when you're in Europe for 3 months, you only have a small window of maybe 3 or 4 hours a day where you can talk to anybody, do any work. So I just asked myself a simple question. And I wrote everything down that has to be done in a deal. And I said, how can I do none of this? How can I get somebody else to do this all for me? And so then I found, all right, well, I got my local assistant and I had a US based assistant at the time. She can manage the marketing, and I have a virtual assistant that can manage the leads. And I partnered with local wholesalers to do the acquisitions side of it. And then we use realtors on the dispositions side of the deal. And you know what happened? I started doing more deals and making more money profit, even though I was splitting it with everybody. I started doing more deals because I wasn't the bottleneck anymore.
Yeah.
And so forcing yourself to go spend 3 months traveling around the world will really, really help you with developing the systems and building the team. So that's awesome. I just love what you guys have done. That's awesome. And then the community is where you can, this is what I wanted to ask you. In the community, you find people to partner with on deals, and have you found private money lenders?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
In the community?
Joe, they're coming out of the woodwork. We have more private money lenders than we have deals to fund because we actually can fund sometimes. And sometimes the brain damage of having to deal with the private money lender is a little too much. So we're just like, never mind, we'll fund it ourselves. But like the big one, especially if they're brand new lenders. If they're brand new lenders, I mean, we're holding their hands, we're teaching them how to wire. We actually we enjoy that. I want people to learn how to win, but sometimes speed, right, to get to the close is what we need. So actually the 2 private money lenders in our 50 acres, one of them was a brand new lender, and he came to me and said, Rhea, I have my IRA money. I've never done a lending deal, and I want you to show me how. And I was like, I've got one for you. It's a home run. It's like goofy, easy. And he said, okay. And now he'll lend to us forever because he got a ridiculous return. But there are a ton of lenders, right? Yeah. Because it's first position, it's land. They know us. Like I own a hotel with Alexa and 2 others. We syndicated it. We raised $2.3 million. We're in the middle of rehabbing it. Pace Morby made a $100,000 LP investment. He told me it's okay to say that. I wouldn't normally disclose that. Yeah. So the result of our friendships and our connections and our Zooms, I mean, they're not only are we doing business together, but we shared a room at Squad Up. I mean, these girls are like my besties. Like, you know, the benefits are just, I mean, unbelievable. Look, I come from a very corporate environment, right? It's commercial real estate. It's all guys. It's all tenant representation. Like we'd kill each other to get the next deal. Yeah. I'm not accustomed to being in a group where you're collaborating, right? And then I come into this group, like your group, Joe, and I meet Alexa and I meet Imelda, and like everything changes, right? Every deal I'm doing is with other people. Some of them are not so good. Let me just say that.
Yeah. You still have to do your due diligence, right? And just
Right.
because somebody's in the community doesn't mean that they're good to do business with.
Oh, right.
You still have to filter them out. Be careful who you're lending your money to.
Right.
Lend on the deal, not on the person, right?
Right, right. I want to say one other thing because this is kind of fun. So I was watching these land funders, right? There's people that will land fund and they take 50-50. And I'm thinking 50-50, that's a lot of money just for like funding. And I thought, well, that doesn't seem fair. I don't think somebody should take 50%. So I was like, well, I'm going to put myself out there and tell them I'll take 30%. I'm only going to take 30% because the new land guy or gal who doesn't have $5,000 or $10,000, they don't know how to do this. And so I put myself out there in your group and said, I'll fund deals at 30%. And this young, brand new kid came to me and said, I got this deal under contract. It's 5,000. I've got it under contract for 5,000. Will you help me? And he sent it over to me and I looked at it and it's got slightly more than 20,000, ARV, if you want to call it that, or market price. And I said, great, no problem. I will fund it for you. And then he comes back to me and he says, well, I don't even know what to do. And I was like, oh, you're brand new. He's like, it's my first deal. And I was like, oh boy, okay. I said, just send it over to me. We're going to put it up on the market. It's sold in 2 days. I didn't even have to fund it because I went to the title agency and said, can you do A to B and B to C at the same time? And we won't have to fund. And I took 3,800 and he took the rest of it and his mind was blown. He was like, like that's his start.
Oh, I love it. That is so awesome. And so how much you gave me the numbers before, and I was going to bring this up. What did he buy it for? What did you sell it for?
He bought it for 5,000. We sold it for 20. We had a realtor fee, like 3.5%. It's the same realtor that we use, right? Same title agency that we use because I already had everything in place, right? Here's the title agency. Here's the realtor. The pictures are going up tomorrow. All you need to do is sign the listing agreement. And then I barely even had a JV with the kid. I was like, I don't even have time to do the paperwork. Like, just trust me. It's all going to be okay. We'll fund it if we need to. It'll happen. And then at closing, it was a little bit of a risk for me. I was like, can you just make sure you disperse to my LLC? And they were like, yeah, no problem. Because it all happened so fast.
Yeah, and that's important too when you're lending the money. I wanted to talk about this. When you're lending money, well, let's say when you're borrowing money on a deal, your private investors, do they send the money to you or do they send it to the title company?
Title.
Right.
Right, to title. Never, ever, ever to the individual person.
Yeah, okay.
Always goes to title. And always have paperwork. Do not listen to what I just said. Always have very detailed paperwork, unless you're prepared to lose your money. Right?
Which nobody should be, right?
Just know that if you miss a couple of steps and you lose your money, that's your own fault.
Yeah. I just love that how, my community is not as big as Pace's, obviously. But I love how people are starting to partner with each other on deals, lend each other money on deals. We have people in there like you who are just saying, hey, listen, if you're new and you've got a deal, let's bring it to me and I'll partner with you on it. I'll lend money on it. We'll split it, 30-70 or something like that. Talk about a no-brainer. I wish I would have had that when I got started.
Yeah.
That is so awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
One of the things that I found really interesting is the sense of community. So I didn't even really know what a mentorship was until I came into Pace's mentorship. I've heard of masterminds, but I didn't really know what it was, just because I've spent time in a more kind of traditional, different professional environment. And, when you get in like your group or any other group, right, depending on what it is, my recommendation to somebody who's new is spend as much time as you possibly can in between taking action, sending out offers, sending your mailers, connecting with the people that are doing what it is that you're doing, right?
Yeah.
Because they're going to teach you, they're going to show you, like Tyler, who's the little guy that I funded. He can call me anytime now and go, hey, Rhea, what do you think? He doesn't even need to partner with me. I'll tell him what to do and you can go keep all the money because I was so excited for him to win.
Yeah.
And so was he. It's perfectly fine.
I love it, man. I just love having that opportunity for people to find those kinds of people, right? Because there's a lot of people, most of the community that's active in the group are newbies, people just getting started and they need some help. And when there's other seasoned pros in there that have been there, done that can help them with those deals, that's awesome. Okay, let me see any more questions I have here. You don't have to give me the state that you're in, but are you mainly going in the southern part of the U.S., the western part, northern, where are you guys kind of at? And how many different states are you in?
We're going to give you the state. We're in Florida. There's nothing to hide.
Okay.
This is not rocket science, man. You guys,
Okay,
listen,
all right.
There's room for all of us. You can all come into Florida if you want to, but we're probably going to win because we got Imelda over here. I'm just warning you. You might want to stay out of Florida because she's a killer.
Call him every day.
But there's so much land. There's so many sellers. There's so many motivated sellers. There's so many mailers. There's so many text messages. Like sometimes it's timing. Sometimes it's like you don't have to worry about what the competition is doing. We're really not in a place that I've seen where I'm like, oh, they snatched that from underneath us. Mm-hmm. Like we're just not really. And I don't know. I think if you come at this business with a mindset of scarcity, like you're gonna miss the whole point, right? You're gonna miss it. Like there's more than enough business for everyone. And so we're in Florida, right? We mail, we text. We're getting ready to do cold calling through Land Caller, which is Joe Roberts' group. We're going to layer that on and see what the results are from that. Again, test, measure. What's the return? Are we spending the right amount of money for the right amount of business coming in? But one of the things that we've done is we've actually set a target. And I want to share this target with you guys because maybe in like another 8 months or 9 months, Joe will come back on and we'll tell you if we hit it.
Yeah, good.
But you guys, this is our BHAG. This is our big, hairy, audacious goal, right? Like if you're not setting something crazy, then you're thinking way too small. Okay, so here's our goal. So we've done 13, right? And we've got 14 in the pipeline right now. A couple of those are maybes. They're not really going to close. Or if they do, we call them Hail Marys. We got a couple of Hail Marys in there. 50 signed, closed contracts by 12/31/2024. Our average spread is $30,000. We've increased that. We don't want $10,000 or $20,000. We want $30,000.
Yep.
And that converts to $2.6 million in gross revenue in the 12-month period with a 50% margin. We will not stay at our 68% margin. It's goofy.
Yeah. Well, man, have you read the book 10X is Easier Than 2X?
No. Is that a good one?
You haven't?
No. I'm writing it down. I'm writing it down.
You got to read it. It's exactly what you're talking about right now. 10X is easier than 2X. And so it's easier to achieve. So even because you're aiming at 10X, and when you start thinking bigger, all right, how can we 10X? Even though it may be ridiculous. Like you may make it a goal to make $20 million a year. Well, that forces you to think a bit differently. Like, all right, so we can't do this. So then you start aiming for that. And you may not hit 20 million, but guess what? You're going to hit 2 million, which is better than where you are now. But it forces you to think more strategically, and it forces you to 80-20 your business. All right, where do we need to spend? Where are we spending right now 80% of our results, our efforts? That's only giving us 20% of our results.
Yeah.
Where should we be focusing on where we're getting the biggest impact on our marketing? So like it just forces you to ask bigger and better questions.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's the place that we're in right now. That's exactly where we are. We're having to get much more strategic and say, okay, where's our spend? Where's our time? How's our team functioning? What are they doing? Are we getting the right quality of leads? Are we spending the right amount of time comping? What about the due diligence? Ooh, in the dispo process, when this seller sold the contract when he already had a signed contract. Ooh, that was a mistake. We should stay in contact with them so they know that we have a fully executable contract, right? So we missed it. It's okay. Cost us $10,000. All right, that's all right, right? I mean, it didn't cost us actually hard money. It's the opportunity cost.
Right. Sure.
But like really swinging for the fences, like that 2.6 million, that's not even swinging for the fences. Because one of the things that we've talked about also is we need a line of credit for like $10 million so we can buy all of our land in cash. Because we want to entitle, we want to subdivide. Yeah. So there's today money, there's tomorrow money, and there's generational money.
Yep. So
the conveyor belt, and we're going to need a lot more cash to do that. Right? $1 million parcel, a $2 million parcel. We can't close that in all cash. Yeah. So now we need the commercial banks, right? And, we're starting to think about how do we get to that much like the Willie Goldberg level?
Mm-hmm.
right? We listened to his podcast and we're like, oh yeah, is there a hedge fund out there, right, that wants to place money? We're looking for those really big players that understand how big we're going to play, and they want to place money with us because they think we're a sure bet.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people like that out there. Yeah.
Come
I love
to
it,
us. Come to us because we are here and we are waiting for you.
I love it, man. I'm so happy for you guys. Proud of you both. I mean, all three of you. That's awesome. Epic. I love it. Any tips or advice? How about I go through each one of you? Alexa, we'll start with you. What are some tips and advice that you would give to beginners getting into this land investing stuff?
Yeah, so I think it's really just go through your entire course and follow it. Like, don't try and recreate the wheel. Just follow it and do it for a minimum of 6 months. Don't do it for a week and then give up because you don't have a contract. Do it for a minimum of 6 months. And then my other thing is, if you are planning on partnering with people or like building a team like we did, make sure you're partnering with people who have different skills than you, right? You don't want 3 of you in one spot because you're all going to be doing the same thing, fighting over the same thing. And it's most likely not going to work out. So, we all quote unquote dated before we joined the partnership just to make sure we could play off of each other's skills. So it's super important to stay in your lane, know what your role is, and just do that role. Do not go into Ria's court. Do not go into Imelda's court because things get messy. So just stay in your lane.
Yeah, you guys fit perfectly together. I don't even know you all that well, but it just looks like you're a dream team. That's awesome.
We feel that way.
Imelda, so what tips and advice from you?
I say just take the damn action. Like I mean, Ria for a while at the very beginning is like, all right, hold on, Mel. I'm like, let's send 5,000 mailers a week. She's like, whoa, you have to wait. And she had to kind of pull me back a little bit. But I think you just do it. Just do it, right? Like, I think you have that analysis paralysis that people talk about. And we definitely don't have that problem. We just screw stuff up and then we learn from it. That's the only way you're going to learn from it. And I think if you're afraid of losing a little bit of money, you're going to lose some money. That is normal. That's part of it, right? It's like when you're riding a bike, you're going to fall. You are going to fall. And I think if you're okay with the learning process and taking action, you're going to learn and I think you're going to succeed. You just have to take action. That's it.
Yeah. Good. Thank you. Ria, what about you? Tips, advice?
I was going to say kind of the same thing that both of the ladies said, but one of the things that's been really helpful for me, I've been listening to tons of podcasts. I mean, obviously your course, Joe, right? And what you teach and what some of the other people are talking about, but like learning about subdividing and entitlements. And when you don't understand something, I didn't even know what a perk test was. What's a perk test? Okay, Google it, figure it out, call the cat, do whatever you need to, like, be really curious, right? Peel the onion skin multiple layers, because this is a journey, right? You cannot eat the elephant all in one sitting. You're going to follow your course and you're going to take one step and one action, next step, next action. And it will all come together. And then when you sort of get your feet underneath you, then you can start looking at the more advanced strategies, layering in texting and cold calling, right? Like, don't try to do it all at once, because there were moments, because Mel's like, let's send 50,000 this month. I'm like, geez, Louise. Which probably would have been fine for us because we'll just work 24 hours a day. Like, we don't have an issue with that, but it's not probably how you want to do it. So I would say take the action, layer in every one of the steps that's in your course. And then once you kind of feel like confident in the mailers and you're able to handle, then you can think about what the next steps are. I mean, it's all been an evolution for us. And now you can see the possibilities look, I'll be honest, $400,000 a year in income is actually that's small land income. Like, I am crystal clear that I will make millions of dollars just to me, and my partners will make millions of dollars on their own in less than 2 years. Millions. I'm not talking hundreds of thousands. I'm talking millions. Mm-hmm. So land is like this untapped, uncork the money. It's sitting there, but you have to take the action. And you have to be prepared for a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
It is work.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think you're just going to, once you get your system up and running and all the people are trained and the SOPs and all that good stuff, you can just look under the hood periodically, right? Which is probably, Joe, where you are, right? You just look under the hood. It's all running the way. We're not quite there yet, but you can get there. It's very achievable. Every single person that comes into your course, I don't care who they are, you can get there.
Nice. I love it. Okay, how can people reach you guys? If they want to partner with you on a deal, maybe they want to lend you money on some of your bigger deals. How can people reach you guys?
Yeah, we do have some big deals. We have $500,000 deals, $1 million deals. We pay great rates, especially when we have a huge spread. Rhea Campbell, all one word, _ORD is my Instagram handle.
Okay.
Okay, so Rhea Campbell _ORD. That's Instagram.
Okay.
Or you can Rhea at landdivas.com.
Rhea at, that's RHEA at landdivas.com. Okay.
And we will fund other people's deals as well. So we want to fund at levels that we think are maybe not as high as some of the other land funders, because we want you to win. The more money you keep, the more money you have for marketing, the faster you can get to a higher level.
Yeah. Love it. Cool. Imelda, Alexa, any final words?
No, thank you so much for the course you put together. It gave us our head start, and we're just excited for what's to come. And, hopefully we can jump back on next year and share our progress with you.
Will you please keep me updated on how you guys are doing?
Yes,
and
absolutely. We will.
Yeah,
We will.
cool.
Thank you so
All
much.
right. Hey, real quick too. I don't know if you guys knew this. I'm doing a 2-day workshop in St. Louis, end of August. As we're recording this now, August 26, 27. I'm calling it the Do Deals Workshop, and we're going to do it at Busch Stadium, where the Cardinals play, which would be a lot of fun. You guys are welcome to come.
Amazing. Thank you.
We are only charging $500 per ticket, but you can bring a business partner.
Oh, amazing.
So if all three of you are going to come, maybe you can pay a little bit extra, but for that. But let me know after we record. And if anybody else listening to this, if you're interested in that workshop, we're only limiting it to 60 or 70 people. It's called, just go to dodealsworkshop.com. In fact, do I have it here on my, here it is. Boom, look at that. dodealsworkshop.com. And I'm doing this with Brent Bowers and Ray Jong.
Okay.
Two of the guys that, Ray, homeless immigrant from China here in the U.S., killing it now. On our last workshop, he went into my 2 markets and did a bunch of direct mail because I was teaching what we're doing and where. And he just messaged me the other day. 2 months later, he's got 11 deals under contract in my backyard.
Wow.
So, it's pretty crazy. But anyway.
I love that. That's how easy it is. That's literally how easy it is. Just go in, send the mailers, and wait for it to come back.
Yep, exactly.
Amazing.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rhea, Imelda, and Alexa. Appreciate you guys so much.
Joe, thank you. You're wonderful. Your course is amazing. The community that you've created, we can't thank you enough because we feel so incredibly grateful. Please let us know what we can do for you or for your community, because we feel like it's really important that we give back what you so freely gave to us, because you gave us all the money back for your course.
Yes.
Oh,
cost us nothing.
And by the way, those of you guys don't know what we're talking about, if you go watch my webinar at simplelandclass.com, I have a course, and when you complete the program, you make at least 50 offers in 6 months. I'll refund all your money.
Oh, that's incredible. Yeah. I remember I told Ray, I'm like, look at this. Like, come on. It's a no-brainer.
So we owe you something. I mean, Joe, we do. We owe you a great meal in St. Louis when we come for your dodealsworkshop.com.
All right.
How's that?
All right. Sounds good.
All righty. Thank you so much.
See you guys later.
Amazing. Thank you,
Wait
Joe.
1 second. Hang on 1 second. I want to ask you guys a question. All right. See you guys later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Everybody.
Bye-bye, everyone.